I never hear you say the word now. Could you?
Now.
No, I mean. Thank you. My question is, would you say that it's the same as what is? To call what is now?
Well, I think it's confusing to call it now, because if you call it now, the implication is if there's a now, then there would also be a then.
Yeah.
Now and then. Now and then. So now, for me, anyway, the word now is somehow orientated with the idea of time. There is no such, in other words, as far as this is concerned, there's no such thing as now. Yeah. Even what is and isn't. You can't say it, but what is and what isn't can't be really related to time and point to something that is absolutely immediate and timeless. Because this is what all this is pointing to. Everything that's coming out of here is pointing to what is and isn't, which is immediate and timeless. It's the infinite. Yeah. Another word for it is the infinite.
The non-finite, in that sense.
Yeah, in a way, except that also is what it's pointing to is that the finite is also the infinite. But when you start talking about now, you start moving into the area of being here now. And you're back into some idea of living in the moment. There's no way that this will talk about living in the moment,
sure,
because that's a process.
Right. But when it is a little bit looked at or explored, the fact that now is all there is and there's nothing else than now, and even when we start to look a little closer at now, you get into some kind of a complete abstraction, and yet an utter presenceness of the only thing that is, which is now, and in that exploration, the mind just like has to drop. Because
who's going to explore?
I know.
Okay. You know.
It's an idea, but a deep the idea is also a deep exploration of each thought will bring you to nothing.
Right, exactly.
But there isn't anybody that can do it. And
but
it's another discipline.
But can it happen just?
Anything can happen. Oh, anything can happen. This can happen anywhere in any situation. Right. This can happen in a teaching which is totally orientated towards utter confusion and the practice. Of course, how could it not? Because the practice of a path towards something is also what is.
But it has no relevance.
No, nothing has any relevance. This doesn't have any relevance.
Right. The mind is stuck with the idea of validity, asking for approval, relevance, is it right?
A goal.
A goal. And I seem to get to the absence of myself, which is auto-suicide constantly.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I mean, for the mind it is.
It's madness. It's really, you're back in, the mind is in this wheel, this horizontal wheel, looking for something called, and going back to the beginning of your question, what the mind looks for also is something called now.
Yeah.
All words are hopeless. But for me, what is and isn't is as near as you can get.
I see.